Hey there, it's therapy and relaxation. Today we're talking about managing anger through mindfulness and compassionate communication. Let's go! Anger is a powerful and primal emotion, one that can surge unexpectedly, coloring our perceptions and influencing our actions. While anger is a natural response to perceived threats or injustices, unmanaged anger can harm relationships, personal well-being, and even our physical health. Yet, when addressed mindfully, anger can serve as a valuable signal, indicating that something within or around us needs attention. Learning to manage anger through mindfulness and compassionate communication offers a path toward healthier relationships, greater self-understanding, and improved emotional regulation. Understanding the roots of anger is a crucial first step. Anger often arises out of unmet needs, perceived disrespect, or fear of losing control. Sometimes it masks deeper emotions such as hurt, sadness, or vulnerability. For instance, a person may lash out in anger when criticized, even though the underlying feeling might be embarrassment or insecurity. Recognizing these underlying currents is essential in responding to anger thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. Mindfulness provides powerful tools for managing anger. At its core, mindfulness is the practice of paying non-judgmental attention to the present moment. When anger arises, mindfulness encourages us to observe our thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations without immediately acting on them. Instead of getting swept away in the heat of the moment, we create a pause, giving ourselves space to choose our response. When anger is triggered, the body responds physiologically. Heart rate increases, muscles tense, and breathing becomes shallow. Mindful awareness of these physical cues can help us notice anger building before it erupts. Taking a few deep, slow breaths can ground us, signaling to the nervous system that we are safe and in control. This physiological shift allows the rational centers of the brain to re-engage, making it easier to think clearly and make intentional choices. Bringing mindful curiosity to anger opens new possibilities for self-inquiry. Rather than judging ourselves for feeling angry or blaming others for causing our emotions, we gently explore the sensations and thoughts present. Asking ourselves questions such as, "What am I feeling right now?" or "What need is not being met?" helps uncover the root of our anger. Sometimes, simply acknowledging anger with compassion and curiosity can diffuse its intensity. Compassionate communication, also known as nonviolent communication, complements mindfulness in managing anger. Developed by psychologist Marshall Rosenberg, this approach emphasizes honesty, empathy, and connection, even in moments of conflict. Instead of blaming, shaming, or attacking, with words or tone, compassionate communication invites us to express our experiences and needs clearly while remaining open to the perspectives of others. The process of compassionate communication involves 4 key steps: observation, feeling, need, and request. First, we observe what is happening, distinguishing facts from judgments or interpretations. This might mean saying, "When I saw my work criticized in the meeting," rather than, "When you unfairly attacked my work." Next, we express how we feel in response to the observation. "I felt hurt and frustrated." Third, we identify the underlying need, "Because I value recognition and respectful feedback." Finally, we make a clear, actionable request. "Would you be willing to give feedback privately in the future?" Adopting this method allows us to communicate our anger without escalating conflict. By focusing on expressing personal feelings and unmet needs, rather than accusing or blaming, we invite dialogue instead of defensiveness. This transforms conversations even with those who may normally trigger our anger, building trust, understanding, and mutual respect. Equally important is listening with compassion. When others express anger, our instinct may be to defend ourselves or withdraw. Yet, practicing mindful listening means setting aside our own judgments and fully attending to what the other person is expressing, both in words and underlying needs. Simple reflective statements such as, "It sounds like you're feeling overwhelmed because deadlines are tight. Am I understanding you?" can de-escalate tense situations and foster empathy. Anger is not inherently negative. it becomes problematic when handled destructively. Mindfulness and compassionate communication offer an alternative path, a way to honor anger as a signal while maintaining respect for ourselves and the others. Over time, these practices can shift entrenched patterns, reducing reactivity and deepening self-understanding. One effective technique for cultivating mindfulness in the face of anger is the STOP practice. STOP is an acronym for stop, take a breath, observe, and proceed. When anger arises, begin by stopping whatever you are doing. Next, take a slow, deep breath, allowing yourself a moment to reset. Then, observe your internal experience. Notice thoughts, feelings, and physical sensations without judgment. Finally, proceed with intention, making a conscious choice about how to respond. Another helpful approach is developing a regular mindfulness practice, such as meditation, yoga, or mindful walking. These practices enhance overall emotional regulation, making it easier to remain centered during challenging moments. Over time, mindfulness helps us recognize the early signs of anger, providing greater opportunity to address issues before they escalate. In moments of intense anger, grounding techniques can be invaluable. These may include feeling the sensations of your feet on the floor, placing a hand on your heart, or focusing attention on the breath. Such techniques anchor us in the present, reducing the overwhelming power of emotion. Once we are calm, we can reflect on what triggered our anger and determine the best course of action. Engaging in compassionate self-talk is another important practice in anger management. We may be harsh self-critics, especially if we regret actions taken in anger. Mindful self-compassion means acknowledging our struggles without judgment, reminding ourselves that everyone experiences anger and that growth is a process. Instead of berating ourselves, we can say, "I'm feeling angry, and that's okay. I'm learning to respond differently." This gentleness lessens shame and builds resilience. In relationships, it can be helpful to establish agreements about conflict. For example, partners, coworkers, or family members can agree to call a timeout when emotions run high, allowing everyone to cool down before continuing the conversation. This proactive approach signals respect for all parties and supports healthier communication patterns. Ultimately, managing anger through mindfulness and compassionate communication is an ongoing journey. It requires practice, patience, and a willingness to meet ourselves and others with honesty and empathy. There may be setbacks along the way, old patterns may resurface, or conflict may feel overwhelming. Yet, with consistent effort, these skills can be strengthened, paving the way for healthier relationships with ourselves and those around us. Sometimes, anger may signal deeper issues that require additional support. Chronic or explosive anger, especially when it affects daily functioning or relationships, may benefit from guidance by a mental health professional. Therapy can offer tailored strategies for understanding and managing anger, particularly when rooted in past trauma or ongoing stress. In the broader context of community and society, learning to manage anger mindfully and communicate compassionately can transform not only personal relationships, but collective interactions. When individuals model self-awareness, respectful expression, and empathetic listening, they contribute to environments where difficult emotions are handled constructively. This ripple effect can foster workplaces, families, and communities that are resilient, supportive, and collaborative. In summary, anger is a complex emotion, sometimes fierce, sometimes protective, always worthy of attention. By embracing mindfulness, we learn to pause, observe, and respond, rather than react impulsively. Compassionate communication gives us the tools to articulate our needs and feelings, and to listen deeply, turning moments of conflict into opportunities for understanding and growth. Together, these practices empower us to transform the energy of anger into a force for positive change, within ourselves and in our relationships. Let us remember that managing anger is not about suppression or denial. It is about learning to relate to our emotions with awareness, curiosity, and kindness. In this way, anger becomes a guide, illuminating what matters most and inviting us to act with clarity and compassion. As we cultivate these practices, we foster not only our own well-being, but contribute to a more peaceful and understanding world. Thanks for sticking around. Don't forget to subscribe us and check out therapyandrelaxation.com for more. See you tomorrow.